Okay, be honest. Why do people pretend like they hate Assassin's Creed and Ubisoft? You hear it all the time. Every time a new game comes out, you're always hearing the people out there clickbaiting, trying to get views, pretty much just complaining about everything that Ubisoft does. But this video is mainly about Assassin's Creed. Assassin's Creed is by far my favorite franchise out of every video game ever made on the freaking planet. I've played every single one of them, and I still play as many of them as I can to this day. Still, I've even went back within the last year and played the first one. Assassin's Creed, while it does pretty much, stick to a proven formula that actually works and then makes changes when changes are needed. Now, if we go back and we look at the history of Assassin's Creed. The first game came out. I played that on PlayStation 3. It was dropping into the 20s, like whatever. I still enjoyed it. I enjoyed the parkour, even though it was primitive. I enjoyed the story, the setting, the characters. I mean, I legit named my son Desmond after Desmond Miles from that freaking game. And just the setting of that game, 13th, it was 11th century or 13th century, something. It was just incredible. Like this historical time frame, and you're fighting like the Templars and stuff. And I just thought that was so wild. I was like, wow, this is the freaking coolest game I've ever freaking played in my life. And then we get Assassin's Creed 2. Ezio Auditore. And one of the things that stood out to me about that game was the Ezio's freaking, gosh dang it, what do you call that again? His accent. And I'm like, gosh dang, that is cool, because up till then, you're getting, characters in games, and they always got like this like, it never had like that flavor to it for some reason. Everything was just like good English, or, obviously, I'm American, so we get, the American, actors and voice actors and stuff. And like that, really stood out to me. Like, I don't remember that standing out in the first game. So I don't remember, Altair, having like an accent, but that was like one of the things that got me was like Ezio, and I think that caught a lot of people, cause like, that's like one of the most iconic assassins in the whole franchise now is Ezio. And we got 3 freaking games with him. We had, Assassin's Creed 2, then we had Brotherhood, then we had Revelations, and he's just like this prominent figure that's been in Assassin's Creed for a long time. And the gameplay, it changed a little bit, but not enough, not enough. We had like 4 whole games that were pretty much the same. I mean, Assassin's Creed 2 ran a little better, and they were a little bit better at making the game, but it was still rough on Xbox and PlayStation, and then Assassin's Creed 3. Connor, and that one kind of threw me for a loop a little bit. I mean, I was like, okay, they changed it up, now instead of just jumping from buildings, we're moving through trees and stuff. I mean, we had like like some cool stuff in Revelations too, but not a whole lot to be like, oh my gosh, they moved the franchise forward. But we were still consistently getting pretty cool protagonist. I mean, the Assassin's Creed 3 was kind of the first one that threw me off, because I was like, I don't really care about like the American Revolution story, but then right after we get Black Flag, okay, and this is the pirate game, and I'll tell you, it wasn't like one that like really stood out to me. It was kind of a 3, 4, and Rogue was kind of like a little bit of a low point for me in the Assassin's Creed. I was like, all right, but now that I went back and, just a few months ago and was playing, I played like 5 or 6 hours of Black Flag, and I was like, okay, yeah, I absolutely want this to be a remake. And at first, like Edward Kenway, I was just like, I mean, I liked him, but I didn't really love him at first. But the more, like when I went back and I started playing it again, I was like, oh my gosh, dude, this is actually really good. And so I definitely want a remake of that game. Absolutely. I want to play that, but I want it to be like a big open world, like the other ones and stuff, like the newer games. Not just like some little game where you have to like, I don't want like a Metal Gear Solid freaking Snake Eater remake for that. I don't want to have to like go to a loading screen to go to a new thing. I just want it to be big and open. And so then we get to Assassin's Creed freaking Unity. Okay, now everybody went out of their way to try to bash this game because it had bugs, man. And I was like, all right, whatever, you know. I didn't see any of the weird bugs the whole time I played through that game on the PlayStation 4. Not one bug. I didn't see the face, you know. It's just funny, you know. It's like, I knew it started back around then, okay? Because before that, people weren't really complaining about Ubisoft really at all. It was literally around the time that Assassin's Creed Unity came out. The first crew, you know, Ghost Recon, you know, nobody was even complaining about Ghost Recon Wildlands. It was just, you know, some of the other ones, people started complaining around then. And then all of a sudden it was cool to bash Ubisoft games. And it was like, why do you guys bash these games? You know, and it's like, there's people like me that absolutely love these open world games. I don't want to have to sit and learn how to play a new game all the time. Like, I've got a family, I've got a full-time career. I don't want to have to sit and learn how to play my favorite games all the time. I want to come home from work and depress and you know, just depress after the freaking day, you know, decompress. I mean, duh. I just want to decompress. I just want to sit back. I just want to relax. I just want to play a freaking video game. I don't want to have to sit and try to relearn like this whole thing, but I love the historical aspect of Assassin's Creed. It's, like I said, it's one of my favorite franchises and video games ever made. Like, honestly, if it wasn't for Assassin's Creed when I was, you know, 25, you know, and just, you know, like 20 in that age group where you start to focus more on your career and your family and everything else. If it wasn't for Assassin's Creed, I probably would have quit playing video games at that point. I probably would have just moved away from it. And you know, I don't know if I would have quit completely, but I probably would have like kept playing my racing games, but nowhere near with as much interest as I kept throughout those years, you know, like going to college and stuff like that. And so I don't understand why people try to pretend like they don't like Assassin's Creed. I don't get it. You know, and then they're like, oh my gosh, I just want another Grand Theft Auto. And I'm like, Grand Theft Auto is literally the same thing every time too. Like don't you see the correlation here? Like everybody, and I think Ubisoft games look significantly better than any Grand Theft Auto. I mean, even for the games in that time period, I was like, okay, like I like the Assassin's Creed ones better. Like I would legit, if Assassin's Creed, any number, any game launched the same day as Grand Theft Auto 6, and that's all I had was enough to buy one of them, I would buy Assassin's Creed every single time. And I know that might sound some weird to some people, but I've tried to beat Grand Theft Autos, and I just can't. Like, they do not hold my interest. I'll explore the map, and then I'm like, I'm usually out. I really just don't care about them. Like Red Dead Redemption 2, absolutely incredible, but gosh, Rockstar's Grand Theft Auto series, I don't freaking understand how people can love that but hate Ubisoft. Like, I don't get it. Like, I mean, I guess maybe you could look at it like the side quests and stuff like that, but I actually enjoy that stuff. I mean, it might be slop to everybody else or your best good favorite YouTuber that likes to sit there and like talk down about Ubisoft games, but I truly love and appreciate the work that Ubisoft puts into making the Assassin's Creed games. Now, they're not all perfect. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, they're not all perfect, and they've got some corny stuff, but when I'm playing an Assassin's Creed game, like, I'm getting in there. And once they went from Unity and Syndicate, like, Syndicate was all right. I mean, it was cool. I did like the England thing, but like the buildings, you know, the streets got like super wide, and, you know, it was a little bit more difficult to do like parkour and stuff. I really liked Unity, and it kind of felt like it just moved away from that. But, you know, I got, you know, like the grappling, not the grappling hook, but the but the line that you could like slide across, I was like, all right, whatever, you know, you can use that. But I really didn't care for that as much as I did just the good old fashioned parkour, you know, running, jumping through buildings. And freaking the French Revolution, that was a very cool setting for that game. And once you know, once Origins came out is when things like absolutely changed even more for me for Assassin's Creed. I went from spending 20 to 30 hours in an Assassin's Creed game, being able to beat the story in like 12 hours, and then looking for stuff to do, like running around. I think Unity was maybe 40 hours, and then the same for Assassin's Creed Syndicate. Like, I think those two were like 40-hour games, but right when Origins hit, Origins was like, wow, this is easily 100+ hours that I'm in freaking ancient Egypt as Bayek, running around, exploring the freaking map, checking out the pyramids, going. I was blown away. I was like, no freaking way. Like, Ubisoft just literally made the best game of that year ever for me. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, gosh damn, I love this. I had a PlayStation 4 Pro. And I bought it on that, and I beat it on that. And then right when the Xbox One X came out, I bought an Xbox One X, and then I replayed that whole game on Xbox One X. And I was like, holy crap, I just loved it both times, and was so immersed in that game that I literally just kept playing it. And then the next freaking year, we get freaking Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Oh, Odyssey was so good. I mean, I legit was like, I jumped into Odyssey and I started playing that game. And I just remember, I mean, I was like, wow, this literally feels like an Odyssey. And I was just like, this game is so freaking cool. I absolutely love it. And I enjoyed like every minute of it. And then Valhalla comes out. Couple of years later, 2020, you know, we had to wait 2 years, and it was fine. You know, Odyssey got me through that, but it was getting a little bit long in the tooth toward the end of that. Oh, that's one thing I hate, is having to wait more than a year for I want an Assassin's Creed game like every single year. Like, I want a new time period, a new assassin, a new freaking storyline. I just want one every freaking year. Like, I absolutely want that. And then we get like Valhalla, okay? And I'm playing Valhalla. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, freaking Viking era, medieval freaking King Alfred. I was watching the freaking Vikings while playing. I was in heaven, bro. Like, I freaking love that. I love that so much. I was like, wow, this is just freaking incredible. Playing through that game, I spent so much time. Like, I've got a lot of time. Dude, I've probably got like another 30, 40 hours just since I bought it on PC. I bought it on every console I own. I wish it would come to Switch too. I would buy another copy. You just don't even know. Like, I don't understand how people can look at these games and be in these beautiful worlds that Ubisoft creates now for these Assassin's Creed games, and gives you like this big giant sandbox of like medieval, you know, or you know, historical freaking timepieces to run around in and play in it. And I look at that and I'm like, how could people not want to just be in these worlds and live in these worlds and like run around? Like, I mean, I get it. Every game's not for everybody. Like I said, I mean, I would much rather play Assassin's Creed than play any Grand Theft Auto game ever made. And, you know, people look at me like, whoa, you're weird, man. And I'm like, no, I'm just not a 15-year-old boy that likes to, you know, I don't really care for the whole crime thing a lot. That just doesn't, you know, it's not like, ooh, yeah, I want to just go do drive-bys and stuff. Like that, to me, that just doesn't even sound that great. You know, I would rather play Watch Dogs than freaking Grand Theft Auto, which is wild, you know. But, you know, and I think Watch Dogs was Ubisoft trying to like kind of not necessarily copy, you know, Grand Theft Auto, but to kind of make something, you know, a little bit more like in that vein, so that people would, you know, have something to play. I mean, the first Watch Dogs was pretty cool and felt a little bit more like Grand Theft Auto, but it still, to me, it looked better. And so after Valhalla, we get Mirage, okay? And we've got another update coming out on the 18th for that. We're going to get a little bit of an expansion, and I'm super happy about it. Mirage took us back to that kind of pre-freaking Unity size game, okay? Played a little bit more like Unity, but, you know, in terms of like being able to complete it, it was like 17 hours for that. And I was like, okay, you know, I didn't really care for Basim that much in Valhalla, but, you know, just because he like turns into Loki or whatever, and I don't know, like he kind of goes crazy toward the end, you know, so it's like I didn't really like him that much. I mean, at first I did. I was like, okay, cool, you know, Basim. But then once we get to Basim's story in Mirage, and I'm looking at like Baghdad, and it's just a beautiful freaking Middle Eastern freaking country, you know, and they do such a good job at like trying to recreate these timepieces, these eras in time where these, you know, and I look at all the work that goes into trying to recreate. It must be such hard work, like all the stuff they have to go and learn and research and all of that stuff. And I'll tell you what, man, I can barely do research to put out a video, and these guys are building out a whole freaking game just centered around a time like these different, you know, periods, these different time periods, and bringing them to life and giving you a sense of like letting you role play in these time periods with these historical figures, and it's just incredible. Like I don't, like for me, like it's wild. I just don't understand how people can be so negative toward these games, and it's like you can tell like the people that don't even play them, they just sit there and like talk bad about them and stuff. And I've had multiple people come to the channel, and I'll tell them, yeah, dude, play this one or that one, and then they play them and they're like, oh my gosh, dude, I can't put it down. And I'm like, yeah, man, it just makes me sad for Ubisoft, honestly, that they have to go through this every single time they put out a game. You get the little clickbait YouTubers out there that just bash everything, and they don't even play them. It's like I would understand if like you play a game and then you're like, okay, it didn't hit the mark for me, like God of War Ragnarok. It didn't hit the mark for me. Like it was good enough to play through once. I tried to play through it a second time and I couldn't do it. I just, you know, I already know what goes on. So I just was like, nah, I don't really know if I want to do all that work for that ending again. And, you know, the best thing in God of War 2 was probably the Heimdall fight. I thought that was incredible. Like that was cool. Like the combat is pretty badass too. I gave it an 8. I thought it was good. It just, the ending just didn't hit the mark for me. I thought the Viking saga would have went down so much better than the way it did, and that's fine, you know. Like I don't blame Sony Santa Monica. They were trying to do this at the end of in a really crazy time in the world, and you know, like it just didn't hit the mark for me. But I didn't like bash it for that. Like I didn't destroy it for that. I said, yeah, dude. And everybody thought I was bashing it. That's just, you know, how the internet is. They're like, no, you're just not being fair. And I'm like, dude, trust me, I'm being fair. Like I'm being pretty fair. and I felt like my coverage of that game was real, you know. I mean, I gave it credit for everything it did right. I mean, it looked fantastic. It was a beautiful game. Gameplay was awesome, but yeah, the story just didn't hit for me. So whatever, you know. I mean, I can understand if people are playing the games and like giving you their honest opinion, but these guys are like, oh, it's woke and this and that, and it's just like, come on, guys, come on, like it's kind of annoying, man, and it really is annoying to like listen to people, you know, complain about the stuff that you like all the time. And I know I've done it before with like the NVIDIA thing, and I know that people get pretty upset with that, but you know, it would be a different story if I didn't stop and start doing things, you know, a little bit differently. But we get to Assassin's Creed Shadows now. And I've got over 120 hours in this game already, probably pretty close to 130. I still put about 10 hours a week in this game. Most weeks. I didn't last week. I haven't this week yet. But I usually do. I usually put in about 10 hours a week, just exploring Japan. And with this one, they brought seasons to this game that extend the life of this world significantly longer for me, because now I get to explore this absolutely beautiful map. And it never looks the same. Like, it never looks the same. It could be spring, could be freaking fall, could be winter, could be summer. I get to explore this map throughout all these seasons and explore this game and go look for things and take in the beautiful sights and the hard work that Ubisoft put into this game, creating this beautiful world for me to explore. I mean, even if I didn't care for like the story or something, I could easily just play through this. And you know, when I look at Naoe as a character in Yasuke, in the time period that it's in, you know, with historical figures like Nobunaga and stuff, and I get that it might make a little some people, you know, obviously, you know, I mean, if you're Japanese, you probably want a Japanese, like, I get that. I get that you probably want you know, a Japanese protagonist, okay, and not a female. I get it. Sometimes, like most of the time, I don't like to play as female characters, so I get that. Like, and at first I was like, I don't know about this game. I don't know if I want to play as a female, but now it grew on me very quickly. Like, I like that character. I like that she's got a lot of speed, and then Yasuke is a lot slower, but he's a brute. I like that. I actually like having two protagonists. You know, the last time they tried that was with, you know, Assassin's Creed Syndicate, and that was all right. I liked Evie and Jacob. I thought they were a pretty good pair. You know, I think I preferred to play as Jacob the most, but Evie missions were actually pretty cool. But this is the first time where I actually like playing as each character almost equally. I'll play around as Naoe, and I'll be running around. When I'm exploring the map, I'm Naoe. When I am like going to like do a lot of combat and stuff, Yasuke, 100%. Like, I love just having fun. Like, I love the fact that he's like a tank, man. It's so badass. And you know, just like the grappling hook, being able to like go prone and go underwater and like breathe through a tube and stuff. It's just like all the stuff that they thought about. It's like playing Splinter Cell in an Assassin's Creed game, you know, like, and that gives me a lot of hope for Splinter Cell, because, oh my gosh, man, like, you get in some of these castles and you're like sneaking through the yards and stuff, and you're like hiding in the shadows. I freaking love that gameplay. I love that gameplay so much that it's just like, wow. They took Assassin's Creed and then they made it more like Ninja, and I kind of want that part to stay in there going forward, you know, like the being able to like Splinter Cell sneaking around shadows and stuff. I like that. And, you know, for people to like sit and complain about what Assassin's Creed Shadow is and Yasuke as a character, that kind of like, it makes me sad for Ubisoft. It makes me sad for the game, man. Like, I look at it and I'm like, okay. I mean, like, think about it, you know, that'd be like me complaining that I had to play as Connors, an Indian guy, in America. Like, that's kind of wild. That's kind of weird, you know? I mean, it's like, yeah, like that doesn't even make sense. It's like, okay, like, I don't really care the ethnicity of the characters in the Assassin's Creed games. Like, I've never cared. I never will care. To me, it's like, okay, you know, I get what the people are saying. Like, all right, well, you play as Ezio in Italy. You play as freaking, you know, you play as Bayek in Egypt. Like, I get that argument. Like, I do. I 100% get that. And, like, look, they took two characters. They gave you Naoe. she's 100% Japanese, full-blooded Japanese. She's Iga, she's a ninja. Okay, you got your Japanese protagonist. I get that you don't want to play as a girl. A lot of times I don't. But Naoe, give her a chance. She's actually a pretty cool character. And then Yasuke. He is a historical figure from that time. Whether he was a samurai or not. That's always been like a thing with Assassin's Creed, though, is they've always been able to like twist the story and make it, you know. I mean, like, dude, George Washington was a freaking tyrant, you know, King Washington. It is what it is, man. Like it just, yeah, it's just, it's funny how everybody can like, they can depict Russia, America, and I don't know. I don't like they can depict America, Russia, North Korea, whatever, as like evil places or whatever else, you know, or like poke fun at them or, you know, poke holes in the history and all kinds of stuff like that. But like you come to any other place and it's like, oh no, you can't do that. You have to be 100%. And it's like, no, dude, no, it's fair. You can do it to everyone. It's okay. Like, I mean, we need to grow. We need to be better. And I don't know, man. I know that this is kind of a weird video, but like I really do hate the way people pick on Ubisoft, man. I do. I know that I don't feel like they deserve every single thing that comes at them. You know, it's like Ubisoft has always tried to be a company that's like encompassing and like brings everybody in. I've been playing Ubisoft games for a long time, and I mean, like we got games like Just Dance. We get a lot of games, you know, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I wish Assassin's Creed games were a lot more like gritty and like just more like hopefully what Hex is gonna be. But I mean, at the same time, like I'm glad that other people can play those games. I mean, finally they got like, you know, dismemberment and stuff in like the last couple of Assassin's Creed games, but before it was, I don't know, man. I feel like these games have come a long way, and I feel like most people, you know, they get influenced to not buy them, you know, by the people that are out there just doing it for clickbait and money and stuff. And when you actually meet a real Assassin's Creed fan, somebody that loves it, like we don't love every single one of them. You know what I mean? I mean, we do love every single one of them, but we don't necessarily like everything about every single one of them. Like there's things in probably every single one of them that I'm like, that I avoid and I just ignore, man. But there's so much stuff that I actually do love about them that, you know, people complain about like, oh my gosh, it takes 65 hours. Okay, 65 hours is fun. Like I'm not even joking. When I played through Odyssey, and it took 65 hours just to complete like the main campaign of that game, I thought like, gosh dang, I'm sad it's over. I mean, that was the first thing that came in my mind. I was like, man, I'm sad it's over because I love that. Like, dude, if they made one that was like 200 hours long with story beats and content to keep me going the whole time, oh, dude, I would love every single minute of it. I like long games like that. I just like to be in those worlds. So, yeah, I don't know, man. I just wish people would stop freaking complaining about Assassin's Creed as much as they do. I feel like they've changed them enough to each one. You know, everyone's like an iteration. And that's fine. I don't mind learning, you know, a couple things every once in a while. But I play those games because they're my comfort food. I like to get in there and enjoy them. And I just love everything about them. So, all right, my friends, if you guys like this content, do not forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one.